There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from hard work. It comes from holding too much, not just your own responsibilities, but the weight of other people's choices, their emotions, their struggles. You step in to help. You try to guide. You do your best to keep everything together. But somehow, when things fall apart, the burden always ends up on your shoulders. Sometimes it's your family. Sometimes it's a friend who keeps going in circles. Sometimes it's the team you led, the people you care for, or a child you are trying to raise with love. You act because you care. You speak up because you want the best for them. But slowly, without realizing it, you begin to feel trapped. Their decisions turn into your anxiety. Their mistakes begin to feel like your fault. Their pain becomes your responsibility. And even though your heart was in the right place, you end up feeling drained, bitter, or worse, completely defeated. That's the trap. That's exactly what Krishna warned Arjuna about. And that's what the Gita teaches again and again. How to live in this world without getting caught in it. Krishna wasn't standing far away from the chaos. He was right there, in the center of a war. A place full of ambition, loss, fear, pride, and pain. And yet, somehow, he remained clear. He remained steady. He wasn't numb, but he was free. So how did he do that? How did he carry the weight of entire kingdoms, guide others through heartbreak and war, and still stay grounded? The answer lies in one of the Gita's simplest but most powerful teachings. The self-controlled, engaged in karma yoga, are not entangled. To really understand this, we have to look at what karma means, not in some abstract or poetic sense, but in the way it actually shows up in daily life. Karma means action, not just physical work, but thoughts, words, and choices. Every time you offer advice, stay silent, act kindly, or respond with frustration, that's karma. But Krishna takes it further. He says what matters is not just what you do, but why you do it. The intention behind the action. The attachment to the result. The fear of what might go wrong. That's where most of us get stuck. We don't just help. We try to control. We don't just care. We get attached. We don't just act. We tie our peace to the outcome. And when things don't work out, we blame ourselves. We replay the conversations. We wonder what we should have said. We feel ashamed for not being able to fix it. But Krishna didn't do that. He stood beside Arjuna. He guided him, taught him, gave him clarity. And then, he stepped back. He didn't force. He didn't beg. He didn't say, "If you don't listen, I have failed." Instead, he said, "I have shared what I know. Now the choice is yours." That moment says everything. It shows what real detachment looks like. Not cold, not distant, but full of respect. Krishna loved Arjuna. He wanted him to rise. He wanted him to act from truth. But he never tried to live Arjuna's life for him. He remained a guide, not a controller. And that's where many of us need healing. Because somewhere along the way, we forgot how to guide without gripping. We forgot how to care without losing ourselves. We forgot how to love without making someone else's path our responsibility. It sounds simple, but it's not. It takes courage to let go when someone you love is struggling. It takes wisdom to speak honestly and then step back, even if you know they may not listen. It takes real strength to support others without absorbing their pain. And this is exactly what Krishna teaches. He shows us karma yoga, the path of action, done without attachment. Not action without care. Not action without purpose. But action without fear, without ego, and without trying to control what comes next. So how do we live that way? How do we act with full sincerity and still remain free? It begins with this simple truth. You are not responsible for someone else's choices. You can speak with love. You can offer support. You can give your best guidance. But what they do with it, that is their karma, not yours. Your job is to act from clarity, not from fear. Your job is to speak your truth, not to carry what isn't yours. Your job is to stay rooted in yourself, not to fix what others are unwilling to face. That's not always easy, especially when love is involved. When it's your child, your partner, your parent, letting go can feel like abandonment. But Krishna reminds us, real love is not control. It's clarity. It's standing beside someone in their darkness and saying, I'm here. I will walk with you. But I will not carry you. Because when you carry someone who refuses to move, both of you fall. And Krishna never did that. He stayed in his dharma. He acted from alignment. He never pushed, never forced. He knew that truth, offered in stillness, is more powerful than truth shouted in fear. If the other person is ready, they will rise. If they are not, they will learn. And either way, you remain free. That's not indifference. That's sacred responsibility. Because the moment their pain becomes your guilt, or their failure becomes your burden, you've already stepped away from your own center. And now, instead of helping, you are caught in the same storm. Krishna offers us a better way. When life calls you to lead, do it with presence, not pressure. When others look to you for strength, offer it without pride. When you act, act fully, but don't chase the result. And when they reject your truth, let them go. Not out of anger, but out of trust. Because every soul moves in its own time. Everyone is fighting their own inner war. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is step back and let that battle unfold. That's what Krishna did. He stood in the chariot. He gave everything he could. And then, he became still. He wasn't afraid of being misunderstood. He wasn't afraid of what Arjuna might choose. Because he knew his karma was complete. And when your karma is complete, peace follows. Not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer attached to how it turns out. You did your part. You said what needed to be said. And now, you return to yourself, steady, silent, free. So if you've been carrying guilt for someone else's struggle, if you've been tying your peace to someone else's growth, if you've been leading with care, but ending up tired, let Krishna show you another way. You don't have to control the outcome. You don't have to fix everything. You only have to act with sincerity, and then let go. Keep your hands clean. Do what is yours to do. And leave the rest to time, to grace, and to the soul's journey. Because those who are self-controlled, those who act with clarity, without clinging, they are never trapped. They are free.